All right, guys, we're back with another BKFC Reddit AMA with Keith the Rockstar Richardson. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Doing good. Glad to be here, man.
Okay, so you have a fight that's about a week out. Like, what do you do? Like, you're a week out. Like, are you still like sparring, or you're done with sparring? Like, what do you do?
I've got one more light sparring day. Like usually shut it down about a week. Shut down like sparring about a week out. And then rest of the week's weight management, recovery, and just staying sharp. You know, you know, doing enough to make weight, but trying to keep my body healthy. Let my body recover. Let my body peak.
Sure. Okay, so now you're fighting at 135. Is like 135? You feel like that's going to be your home, or are you one of those guys that's getting kind of sick of cutting weight? Maybe you'll go up.
Yeah, I've got it down like to a science at this point. For like for most of my career, 135 has been the been the weight class for me. I think you know fighting up, especially like when I was fighting up MMA would limit me a little bit because the guys were a lot taller and stuff like that. So
Sure.
used to mean a little bit more ground heavy game plan, a little bit more wrestling, a little bit more grappling. With BKFC and stuff like that. I did one fight at 45, but that was I had already cut to 35, and the opponent changed it on 2 days' notice, so I had to bump up a weight class.
Sure.
Um, but still felt strong, still felt powerful. Uh, I think at 35, most guys that have ever grabbed a hold of me can tell you, I feel like a damn middleweight
Sure.
as far as strength and power.
So with your wrestling and your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background, do you feel like that's like helped you quite a bit in the BKFC, or are you able to manhandle people a little more and control their body, or?
Yeah, it's always an advantage. I think I think one of the biggest advantages though with having that background is just the training discipline. Um, especially from wrestling and stuff like that. Wrestling is one of the toughest aspects of combat sports physically. It's the most draining. It's the most like grinding.
Right.
It's wrestlers just have an inherent desire to grind and work and you know so I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've taken away from it. Being able to manipulate guys in the clinch and stuff like that, and the dirty boxing and stuff like that is definitely a big advantage. I think that's part of the reason why you've seen a lot of MMA guys do well in BKFC. Um, they're not opposed to making it nitty gritty and dirty.
Sure. It is kind of interesting how you do see the MMA guys doing far better than the boxing guys. So it's interesting that it's you can transition. It seems like easier from MMA to boxing. I mean to bare knuckle.
I think it's just the that I think it's just the warrior mindset's a little bit different in MMA where you're used to getting cuts, you're used to getting kick, punch, you used to the pain, the brutality of it. So I think I think MMA guys are just used to dealing with that type of pressure in a fight where some of the boxers as skilled as they may be aren't quite accustomed to the dogfight of it.
So coming from MMA and with the rounds being 2 minutes and a 1 minute rate rest, I mean, do you get tired at all, or do you feel like, I mean, do you stay pretty? You have energy the whole fight
Um,
usually.
yeah, that's the one thing it doesn't matter even in MMA I was considered cardio beast. I don't really I seem to I seem to get stronger as the rounds go on,
Right.
but you know that being said, pacing is still a factor. You'll see plenty of guys when they go out brawling, swinging for the fences and stuff like that. That'll gas themselves out towards the end of the round. It's still possible. Just you got to push a ridiculously hard pace to completely gas yourself out, especially with it being two on, one off, two on, one off. It's if you're in great shape and you're plotting for that recovery, you kind of um, you know re, recover quickly and go harder the next round.
So your very first fight against Scoggins was an absolute war. I mean, clearly, I mean, it's going to be up there for fight of the year. Do you feel like you have a couple more of those fights, or is that one of those fights that you're like, kind of like the Robbie Lawler versus McDonald, like where it's like, oh, I don't know that I have a whole bunch more of those. I mean, like I said, that was an absolute battle.
I've always got more. I've always got more of those in me. It's not like it's not something that I'm looking to do every fight.
Sure.
Like you don't want to sustain that like type of damage every time you fight. Yeah, it's one of those things though that it takes a combination of things for a great fight like that to happen. You got to have two guys that just aren't willing to quit.
Sure.
With the way that we both move, we both switch stances constantly. We have great footwork. Fast hand speed. So we canceled each other out in a lot of our defensive aspects. So we had to kind of just technically brawl it out and beat the crap out of each other because the way that we usually defend kind of canceled each other out. But I've always got that type of dogfight in the tank. But if I can end it early, I'm always looking to end it early. They don't pay me by the hour. They don't pay me by the punch. So if I hit them a couple of times and they drop, that's fine by me. I'll take that paycheck every day of the week.
Sorry.
But when everything aligns like that, it's special. I kind of especially with everything that was going on during that fight, it just even in the moment, it felt like we were doing something special in there, and it was it really allowed me to just get everything that was inside out and in the open and just purge the tanks.
Sure. Um, so recently we saw that Reggie's down there in Florida training with Lorenzo Hunt, and Lorenzo Hunt just had the fight with Chris Camozzi, and Lorenzo Hunt completely did a 180 from his usual come out storming. So are you thinking? I mean, I don't want to give away too much, but I mean, it's one of those things all right, so now is Reggie looking to go down there and do a complete 180 and be a totally different fighter, or I mean, you've seen enough tape that he's kind of the same guy no matter what.
Um, he's remained pretty consistent throughout his career. In the way that he fights. He it's been working for him for the most part. We have seen the one guy that tripped him up twice was Johnny Bedford, an MMA guy.
Sure.
Willing to get in there, close him down, make it nasty. Kind of manhandle him a little bit. I think he might be, trying to work on that a little bit. Just knowing my background and knowing that I have the ability to do that.
Sure.
But he's. I wouldn't necessarily expect a complete 180 from him. His styles work for him. I think he's going to try to stick to something similar that he does now, and just try to add a few extra tools to the box.
Cool. So now I've seen that you've done some pro boxing. Is that something you want to continue? I know there's other MMA or BKFC fighters who box part time in BKFC. Is that something, or are you focused just on BKFC at the moment?
Right now I'm focused on BKFC at the moment just because get ready to fight for that belt.
Sure.
Initially when I took that pro box, because I've had one pro boxing fight. Initially when I took that pro boxing fight, I had the idea that I was going to give BKFC a try, so it was I was doing one for the other. But big if a big boxing match comes up, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I like to consider myself an expert in every discipline of the game. That's why I'm so scary MMA wise.
Okay, so I was like, I'm gonna stalk this guy's Instagram and I'm gonna find out stuff to talk to him about. So like, and I was like, please don't like anything because I didn't want to be that creeper. It's like, wow, you like something from 200 weeks ago. So I saw that you were a big Step Brothers fan. Like, which brother would you be? Would you be Brennan or would you be Will Ferrell or would you be John C. Riley?
I'd probably be Brennan. I think. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he's
like
funny
if he like he was the leader of the idiots.
for sure.
Yeah, and I'm definitely the head idiot in charge over at the gym. So
I saw that you recently started talking about it. You know, like the perfect segue into Tony Soto. So I saw that Soto has started training with you. Like, did you reach out to him to bring him into the gym, or did he kind of ask you if he'd come over? Or
little bit of both. Like we've talked plenty. We know each other real well from the area. Like we've fought on a bunch of the same cards. Like so we've
okay,
always been talking about getting work together. And he came in a while back, but we've done a good deal of work, over this camp, especially with us, being on the same card, main and co-main.
yeah,
It just seemed to work out really well. Plus, he's training with a good friend of mine, Jesse, over at Bone Breakers. So it just kind of worked out really well. They brought a bunch of guys down, and we just got together and punched each other in the face. Had fun.
sure. So another redditor wanted to know you train with Brian Battle a lot, right? Or I
Yeah.
mean, you've been with him since he was an amateur. Like, does he put any help in with this camp for you, or?
Yeah. Me and I've worked. I've been helping Brian since he was since after his first amateur fight. He started coming in and getting some work with us too. Um, you know, I get plenty of work with him. He's he's one of my favorite people that I train with. He's always just laughing, goofy, and having a good time. But anybody that's watched him fight knows he's a straight up killer.
Yeah.
So it's always good to get good work with him and just help me training him for fights. Just is extra training for me. So it's always great to get work with him. He's been helping out with the camp a little bit. Um, yeah, I've been I'll work with him privately, usually about twice a week.
Okay.
Um, yeah, me and him are always working. The that's my little brother's. He likes to call me Big Brother.
Okay. So when I was going through your Instagram again, I found that you're a nerd. Like I had no idea that you were into the Renaissance Festival stuff and the kilt stuff. So like my, I catch alligators and I wear a kilt just to make it different. I'm a McDonald's, so like I was like I'm gonna wear a kilt just because there's loads of alligator wrestlers out there. I want to be special. And then I saw the photo of you and you. I couldn't see the kilt, but I saw you had the Marine Corps sash and all that. So like, how long have you been going to Renaissance festivals and dressing up?
Been a couple of years. It's, one of the things that me and my best friend like to do a bunch. Like, who doesn't like walking around with a big turkey leg and big pitcher of beer and
Yeah.
let your balls air out in a
Right.
nice coat. There are a few funner things. Plus, you get to, it's the one time you get to call women wenches and
Right.
all that fun shit. I love the Renaissance Festival. Everybody's usually out there having a great time.
Sure.
So it's I try to at least hit it up once a year. I've been in camp, so my plan is as soon as the fight's over, throw on the kilt, grab a pitcher of mead and a big turkey leg, and just walk around and have a good time.
Yeah, I legit just got back this week from the Texas Renaissance. So I drove a bunch of product down there. I have a buddy who sells clothing down there. So like one of my favorite things to do is usually I don't sell on the weekends. I just walk around and look at all the lovely scenery that walks around. But yeah, I mean it's kind of fun to get out and do something different. So is that your only kilt? You have the Marine Corps kilt or?
I think I got two kilts. I got a formal one, and then I got my Marine Corps kilt. Um, I got the I, it's the Marine Corps stash with the and then I need another tartan. And then
Yeah.
I also got one of the I think I got one of the like Renaissance like tie up shirts too.
Sure, sure. Yeah, the Rennie shirts. So I was
Yeah,
actually looking up. So like Richardson, you guys are, you have a clan. Your guys is like tartan though didn't come out till like 2002, so it's not something your grandparents would have wore. But I was looking it
yeah,
up, and you actually fall under the Buchanan clan, which has like a ton of tartans. It's funny, like I said, I know all this shit about kilts. So you guys are actually Buchanan. So I was like, oh, they
yeah.
have a bunch of cool looking ones. So you got a bunch to choose from.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some more. Like that's the other fun part. Like you do some shopping when you're at the Renaissance Festival. Like me and my best friend, like my best friend's Scottish.
Okay,
I'm down
sure.
there Irish, so like we're always just talking shit while we're walking around and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. Let's see. I had a bunch of other questions. So one of your like the photo I see like a lot on your Instagram is you skydiving with your dad, who I know passed away. Like it was right before the Scoggins fight, right? Um,
Yep.
like, so what are some of the adventures that you enjoyed going on with your dad? Like, I mean, skydiving was badass, but I mean, are you guys? What
Yeah.
other like outdoor stuff did you guys like to do together?
Yeah. Like skydiving was one of the best times. Like it was his idea. Like it was his idea. Like even in the Marine Corps, I didn't get a chance to like do air school or nothing like that. Um, and it was so I like bought the tickets for his bought the tickets for Christmas, but we went on his birthday because like you don't want to go skydiving in the middle of the winter.
Probably not.
Um, and like it was great. Like like it's funny because like as soon as we got home from skydiving, I went and yelled at my mom because like when I like I've got the video of it. When you see me like leaving the plane, like I'm just yelling like, "Oh!"
Yeah.
My dad just freaking like, I don't even think his guy was ready. I think he just jumped out of the plane, like didn't even like no hesitation, nothing. I was like, Dad, I was like, I've never seen a man so willing to just jump out of a fucking plane. Like, you ready to like, what's going on at home? Like, so I was like, so I got home. I was like yelling at my mom, like, I've never seen a man so willing to die. Like, just like he loved it. Like, we were gonna go back and like take the course so we can do it. So we can go on solo jumps and stuff like
Sure.
that. We just unfortunately we didn't get enough. Didn't get enough time. Um, but that was definitely one of our best days. Like, he was he'd been to almost all my fights. He'd been to all my wrestling matches and stuff like that. Um, Another great one was when I got back from uh, Ramadi. Yeah, just gotten back from really tough war zone. But like one of the things that on Camp Lejeune they have the beach called Onslow Beach
Okay.
only for the Marines and stuff like that, and they've got these little bungalows that the Marines can rent out, like for their families and stuff like that. So we went up, we went up renting one out for my family and stuff like that. And and a bunch of the guys that I went over got some for their families too. So like it was great. Like we had we were fresh fresh home from war. We had our families all around us, and like the whole day, like me, my dad, my brother, and my uncle were sneaking shots of Jaeger,
Okay.
like in the cooler and stuff like that. We hid it from my mom. Like we were doing drinking, but we were drinking that night, but like we were sneaking shots of Jaeger like throughout the day, so my mom couldn't figure out why we were fucking sloshed. Well, like I've never seen my dad like my family's always like we drink, we party, like but I've never seen my dad like just like fall down drunk before.
Okay.
And at at one point, like we're like sitting on like the little deck, and he just like falls over, and I was like, what the hell? What are you doing? He's like, the Marine pushed me. I was like, nobody was even near your drunk ass. I was like, go take mommy back to the back to the bungalow. Well, yeah, starts trying to take it there. Gets lost. Just keeps like knocking on other people's bungalows and stuff like that. Yeah, but they've been like partying all night with us anyway. So like, but he just kept on showing up at like different houses and stuff like that. Took him like 30 minutes. Like it was just like a little cul-de-sac, freaking. And then my uncle there, we wound up having to because like he likes to talk shit and like Marines, that's all we do when we're overseas. We just sit there and like rip on each other and stuff like that. So he wasn't prepared, and like start like as we were drinking, he's like the Marine keeps on talking shit to me. He's like, I'm gonna do something about it. I'm like, all right, Uncle Bob, let me know how that works out for you. So like starts getting scrappy. So like we corner him.
Yeah.
Like I grabbed the leg, somebody else grabbed the leg, we grabbed an arm. We start dragging him back to the bungalow, and he's like kicking. And finally, we just like dropped him in the sand.
That's crazy. So a lot of craziness going on in the world right now, like over in Israel and stuff. So like, as somebody who was in the military, I mean, you got to feel for those people. Like, and then I'm hearing like all these reservists that are like, I don't want to do this. Like, as someone who chose that occupation, I mean, what's going through these people's minds? I guess like I guess the actual soldier. Like I said, I feel bad for the reservists who were like, I haven't trained for this, but like, I mean, like you've been there and done it. Like it's a scary situation.
Yeah, I've been through heavy, intense combat. Like I would say like like you join for your country, but it's not why you do what you do out there. You do it for your brother to the left, and brother to the right. Um, being through so much fucking war.
Yeah.
I love peace.
Sure.
If possible, I want peace. Almost at all costs.
Yeah.
But I'm also willing to fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes that's like sometimes that's a necessary step to take. I would really love for us to try to find like some neutral ground, some understanding. It's a complicated issue over there. It's been going on since 1948, 1960.
Right.
Like it's
almost forever. It seems like
it's rough. Like especially as technology progresses and stuff like that. Like we've just we've fine-tuned our ability to kill each other. Freaking, I would much rather us, do it in a ring, do it in a cage,
Sure.
than do it out there in a battlefield.
Yeah.
I've seen way too many good young men die.
Yeah.
But I've also seen like acts of courage, acts of bravery. It brings out the best and the worst of us. In war, like three things usually happen. Good men die. Good men are scarred for life, and and in certain situations, good men can become bad men.
Sure.
You sit in that type of atmosphere for for a long enough time, and it'll start tainting you. Like you can't. Not the easiest thing to do bad things to people, like, and especially when they like when they're doing it to you and your friends, like it can start changing you. So.
I have a brother, and he was in the army, and he was going to be just an infantry guy. That's what he wanted to do. So he was in basic, and he broke his ankle, and they said, well, you can either medically discharge you or we'll make you a paper bitch. So he was like, well, I want to serve, so I'll make me a paper bitch. So he was over in Afghanistan, and he, did all of his clerical stuff, and then he volunteered in the hospital a lot. And he was like, you wouldn't believe the terrible shit that I saw at the hospital. So then he came back, and I haven't seen him or talked to him for 2 years. Like, he just went AFK. He's like, I don't want to talk to anybody. He's like, I'm doing my own thing, which sucks, So I reach out all the time, and but I never get messages back. So I know, like you said, fighting helped you with your, like, PTSD, right? or
Yep.
like so. I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I hope maybe he finds something that helps him, but like also like I feel like it's one of those you can't force somebody. So like I'm just trying to give him space and be supportive if he needs it. But so I know like it seems like is there anything that you do to help military veterans and stuff like with your gym
Yeah,
or?
like I've gotten a lot of them involved in the gym. Like I think MMA, jiu-jitsu, any kind of combat sports is great for it's like great for guys because like once you get that warrior mentality into you, like it doesn't really leave. You just got to
Okay,
find a positive outlet for it.
sure.
So I've definitely tried to help a lot of guys through that. I offer them discounts. At one point, I was trying to get a charity up and running, um, which was like paying for guys to train and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
But but there's been plenty of times I've run across guys like that might not be able to afford it, so I'm just like, I don't come to train, train for free. We don't have to I'm going to revisit it, but I'd rather money not be the only thing keeping you from, something that can help you.
Sure. So you've got quite a few fights under your belt. Has there been a favorite venue or like place that you've like to fight? I mean, do you like to fight in your hometown, or is it like Vegas a big thing for you? Or
It's always great to fight in your home. Get that hometown support. I fought a ton at the Grady Cole Center in Charlotte.
okay,
Um, you know, but just recently, they started putting fights on in Rock Hill at Rock Hill Event Center, which is a nice little venue to fight at. But I'd have to say, as far as like fighting away, like Albuquerque is really great fight city.
yeah,
They even when you're fighting a hometown guy, yeah, they like if you put on a good show and do your job, they've got respect for that.
sure.
They're an educated fan base when it comes to that. And they just show up in droves. They have a like I said, it's just a really great fight city. Um, I haven't fought at the venue that we're going to fight at in Colonial Life, so I'm looking forward to that. It's I think where the Gamecocks play basketball team plays.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. It's just about a little over an hour from where I live, so should have some good hometown support.
That advantage. So, like you have your gym. Like, how long have you had a gym? And is there anybody that's coming up through your gym that we might see in the BKFC at some point?
Um, I've had my gym since I think 2011, 2012 or something like that.
That's quite a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been it's funny because when I first opened the gym with the guy that I opened with, I wasn't really sold on opening a gym. I was like, I'm trying to fight professionally, and but it's become one of the biggest joys of my life. Getting to watch these young upcoming fighters, building and molding them. It's just completely rewarding. Most of my best moments in MMA have been coaching. When I was coaching Taylor for her first bare knuckle fight, the
Sure.
Singala fight, which was just an
That was
epic
a
battle.
war. Absolutely, that was a fantastic
So
fight.
just being able to be in her corner for that was pretty gratifying. Um, I've got about I've got a good crew of guys coming up. I've got one guy, D. Reddick, um, former collegiate wrestler. Right now, he's sitting at 3-0 amateur. Just a beast. Got another guy, Isaac Barahona, uh, sitting at 3-0 too. Another beast. I think his skill set, he's a good wrestler, but I think his skill set, he'd be a good candidate for BKFC.
Okay.
I've just got a lot of killers there that I can't wait to see what the future holds for them. I know that they're going to surpass everything that I do, which is as a coach is the best thing that you can really ask for.
So say everything goes your way on Friday and you win the championship, you're good with staying at 135. You know, like it seems like everybody wins a belt now and they want to be a two division champion, and no one wants to like defend their belt. They want to run away and do the a super fight. Like I mean, you're good with. I know like Ryan Reber. Ryan Reber's a good friend of mine, and he was hoping to have the fight against Reggie, and I absolutely understand how you jumped over. You know, you got the momentum going. So I know like Reber is like, hey, I want him after this fight if everything goes your way. So that's your plan to stay at 135.
Yeah, like like me, like I understand the appeal of wanting to be that champ, get that champ status, but you also like you got to do like to me you got to do it like Volk that did it, like
Sure.
you're defending what you've got, so like plus like you haven't even defended your belt yet, like chasing after another belt I think is a little premature, like
Absolutely.
I think like that super fight mentality was like built up, it should be built up by a definitive champ, like you've defended the belt a couple of times, like you've got that weight class locked down.
Absolutely.
Now you can start looking to Volk like cleared out his division. Like, all right, so he's got if he wants to challenge himself and keep himself, he's got that mentality. He wants to challenge himself and keep himself, grinding. He's got to look for that next step. That next step was that champ status, and that's why he went up where I think he could have went down if he wanted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What kind of dog you got?
Yeah. My parents want a rescue. I got there's a little mutt.
Okay.
Part wiener dog, part something else. I don't know. I think there was a group sex activity like with his mom when like they were in a kennel or something like that.
That's a
so we don't know exactly what he is, but he's part wiener dog.
Did you have a Dogo Argentino at one point?
I did.
So
she was gorgeous.
Yeah, so I had Dogo Argentinos. When I lived in Texas for a while, the only thing to do down there is hunt pigs. So I went on a hunt, and there was this dude that had two fantastic Dogos. So when I moved back to Colorado, I rescued a Dogo Argentino, and then the thing I was going to tell you is Austin Trout has a Dogo Argentino also. So it's kind of, I mean, it's a rare breed, but I mean, it's enough that they're fantastic dogs.
Oh man, I love big dogs. We got mom's right now has a huge Great Dane. He's got to be at least 160 pounds. And
Oh wow!
He is a monster, but he's like the sweetest dog. Like I love big dogs, but like right now I don't have a yard or anything. Like I'm living in a townhouse, so I get this little pain in my ass.
Yeah, we got my son wanted a dog, so he's got a Basset Hound, and I mean it's fantastic, but also it's like, come on, get a real dog. So we'll see. At some point we might get it, but I also travel a lot for work, so maybe once stuff starts to settle down, people? I mean, clearly people like you. What would be the best way for people to interact with you on the Instagram? Or are you active on Facebook more, or what are you active on the most?
I'm usually active on Instagram more than anything.
Okay, I'll be sure to share that. And is there any like sponsors or anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or anything before we wrap this up?
Yeah. Always got to give thanks to my Modern Warrior family. My 3rd Battalion 8th Marines brethren. The veteran 3/8 veterans squad. I want to thank. Mental physical therapy, chiropractor. Yeah, I've always been fortunate enough, to have great group of friends, great family that support me. Yeah, it's not a sport where you can do things on your own, except for get in there and we might fight on our own, but it takes a village to get you there.
So, Mike, I was going to ask you, Mike Richmond, the Marine Richmond. I mean, you talk to him like one of my favorite entrances though is when he came out with all the servicemen. Have you thought about doing something like that, or?
I've thought about it. I'd love to. Yeah, I'm not someone that takes a huge time to I guess choreograph shit and stuff like that.
Sure.
Like, but maybe I need to start working on my entrances a little bit more. Like,
Yeah.
usually I just like to dance my way out there and have fun. Although, last time we all came out in the cowboy hats, and that seemed to go pretty well.
Yeah.
Like that was just kind of like a last minute impromptu thing. One of my fighters that flew out to Albuquerque with us, he was partaking in some of the legal weed,
Okay.
and he like came back from shopping like with a bunch of cowboy hats, and he's like you if you wear one out there, I'll buy it for you. I was like, all right, say less. And then everybody else everybody else in the corner wanted one.
Of
So
course.
just all worked out, and now it's just a feel like now it's just the vibe. Like if you want to feel like you want to feel good about yourself, like put on like a nice like real authentic cowboy hat, and you just feel like a pimp.
Yeah. So last question: where did the nickname the Rockstar come from? Like, who gave that to you?
It's funny. I got that after my first fight, my first Ami fight. Like I always been like a big fan of music and stuff like that, and I wish I could play music. I was like a roadie for my cousin's band, but I'm not really musically inclined. But the reason why I came about was like my first fight. I just tore through this guy, and afterwards it was the first MMA fights that they had after they re-legalized MMA in North Carolina.
Okay.
So I was on like the first card in Charlotte, and after the fight, I had a girl come up to me and ask me to sign her tits.
Okay.
So it just and one of my boys come in and like, "You fucking sorry." Star Richardson, and it stuck, just stuck after that, and it's always been part of the fight name.
Well, I think maybe at some point we might be like kilted Keith Richardson. You know what I mean? You come out in the Marine Corps tartan, like looking all fancy, like.
Well, then I got the other one not too long ago was after the Strauss fight, the Underpaid Assassin.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did
which
you say
that's
unpaid or underpaid?
underpaid.
Underpaid, nice.
And which is one of the things that some people call Marines like underpaid assassins. But I got that because I said something about that in an interview. But then Gilbert Melendez was commentating. He's like, yeah, maybe we should call him the underpaid assassin.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, the dog says the interview is over, so I appreciate all your time. Thanks very much, and I look forward to seeing you this coming week. It'll be fantastic.
No problem. I'm looking to put on a show, and there's two little words.
And new. Right on, buddy. Thank you so much.
No problem, brother.